Happy spooky season, everybody. It is Corbin Stuckey. I hope you're enjoying your first few days of October. I know I am. We just watched our first scary movie for the month of Halloween, and that is Good Boy. I have been looking forward to this film since hearing about it last month, and I'm happy that it released as soon as it did. It feels like I watched that trailer a month ago and it just released very soon, and rightfully so. It is October. It makes sense that it's being released around Halloween time, and I love the fact that we were able to watch this film as soon as we did. So, Good Boy. Good Boy is about a guy who moves into his grandfather's home after inheriting it from him, and he brings his dog along. And the film is told from the perspective of the dog. It's not a literal perspective we're seeing it through his eyes that VHS 2 short film where they put a GoPro on the dog and we just see this alien invasion happening. It's kind of picture Tom and Jerry, where we see Tom and Jerry interacting with each other, and you hear humans in the background, or we only see their torsos and not their faces. For anyone who's looking for a modern interpretation of what I'm trying to explain, think of those Pokemon shorts that happened before the movies, where it focuses on Pikachu and Ash's Pokemon, and we don't really see Ash's face. We just kind of see his body, or his face is just completely cropped for whatever reason, even though we know what Ash looks like. It's like that.
It's a Pokemon paradise.
This looks like tons of fun. Yeah, the Pokemon love it. Just keep your eye on Togepi, okay, Pikachu? Pikachu!
We see the dog in frame, but any human interaction that's involved within the scene, it's the face is cropped, or it's covered in shadow. The main focus and main character of this film is this dog. And it turns out that the main plot of the story, where the dog is front and center, is that this is a haunted house that they are now staying at. And there is a dark entity looming around them, and just watching them from afar, we see this thing, this scary dark figure in the background, and we see the dog noticing it from a distance, and it is really effective. And mainly why it's so effective is because we are following this dog, and us as humans, we care more about animals than we do conventional characters in film. I brought this film up to my girlfriend because I figured she would be very interested in the concept, knowing that there is an animal involved, a cute dog. She doesn't really like horror films as much as I am, but she puts up with it whenever I want to really go see a horror film. There are some where she sees the trailer and she's like, nope, I'm not seeing that with you. That's a you thing. But I figured because a dog was involved that she might be somewhat interested in. However, there was some concern because we got into a conversation as to, was this animal abused to get certain reactions within the film, because this is a dog who is reacting to a ghost or entity in this household. So we wondered if the crew or any outside parties was doing anything to get certain shots done, because that is an issue that happens in Hollywood films a lot of the times, and that's why a lot of people, especially James Gunn, utilize more CGI animals now, so they don't have to deal with any of the abuse factors or any concerns that some people may have. And after finding some articles about the subject, and there even was a behind the scenes extra, if you stayed at the end of the film, that explained how exactly they got these shots, it appears that they didn't really have to do anything like that, which is very reassuring for anyone who is a dog lover or just an animal lover overall. It was actually very interesting to see what was involved with this behind the scenes of the film, and I really appreciated that they added this extra thing at the film just to showcase what was involved with making this. And it was very eye-opening, and I love, like I said in the past, I love collecting Blu-rays because I love just kind of seeing the set work and what was involved with making a film. And I think it kind of merited including that at the end of the film, because I think people are going to wonder hey, how did you get this shot with this dog? And it was actually incredibly revealing that the film, it took 3 years to make this film, because they were dealing with this dog and they didn't want to do anything to upset the dog or do anything unnecessary just to get a shot for a film. Dealing with animals on set is actually super, super hard. Just to go into some background with me, I'm a videographer here in Atlanta, and the last job that I had, I worked with a little French bulldog, where we would do skits with the French bulldog. We added a voice within the video, and I had to get certain reactions from the dog, and it would basically be me snapping my fingers, saying hey, look over here, I've got a treat. So, and it was clear that that was involved with this film in particular, was they were behind the camera and they were having the dog look at a corner of the room. And they also mentioned that if there were any times where this dog, Indy, whimpered or showed signs of maybe whimpering, that was actually the dog verbally being happy. But when you showcase the dog's face and then you show a dark figure in a corner, it creates this subconscious of like, oh, the dog is actually like, you know, scared right now. So it was very interesting kind of like seeing like how they were able to convey that the dog was scared, even though the dog was like potentially happy on set. And just going outside the crutch of this is a film centered around a dog, the film is still really creepy within itself, like with this entity or demon following this man who now owns this house. It's a dark figure, but it's really creepy in the context of like it's just way off in the distance, or sometimes we might see it in pictures and then you'll just be like, did you see that? It really catches you off guard when you notice within that split second that this thing is nearby. And it does add more of a scare factor when the film decides to focus more on this dog as the victim in this story. Over the past year or so, I have met so many people who are open enough to say that like they don't go see certain films because what they do is they will look up to see if the dog in the trailer dies. And I think that was an initial reaction with a lot of people who viewed that first trailer is people Googled if Indy the dog dies in Good Boy the movie, which is great. I think it showcases that people have a love for animals and it gives people a reason to care about the characters within the movie itself. And I think now this is a conversation that I really want to transition into now is the idea of Hollywood maybe utilizing more animals within their films in order to get our money for us to pay for tickets. I think with James Gunn in particular, I think he definitely understands that like people love animals. He's clearly an animal lover himself, like, you know, with, you know, Superman, like that had Crypto the Superdog, and then all of his other films like Guardians of Rocket Raccoon and Eagly and Peacemaker. The man understands that like, you know, it's cool just to have like an animal sidekick, and I just love that about him. I mean, this is just kind of like a pitch to Hollywood. Maybe you should include more like animals like in your movies in a safe manner. I think this is a good example of like how you approach that. And obviously, like, it might take some time considering the fact that this film took like 3 years and everything, or maybe just utilize CGI, I don't know, but clearly like there is a market here to utilize cuteness within something like as contrast as like a horror film. Even that one movie, Caught Stealing, didn't see it, saw the trailer like 10 times when I went to the movie theaters. I'm sure a lot of people saw that movie because there was a cat involved. Glad that the cat also got his like red carpet premiere. That's really cool. But what I'm saying here is like clearly like people love animals. I've had a film idea for like the longest time, which I'm not going to mention on video because I don't want anyone stealing it, but like a lot of close friends of mine, like when I share this idea, people are like, oh my God, that's like the greatest idea ever. The main character is a pet, which I hope to make this film one day. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I think that would be a really cool idea. But I have always recognized that that idea might work because of this culture, this certain like demographic of people who love this pet. There's videos of this pet all over online, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. And I recognize that people will watch these videos for hours on end. And I've always had this thought of like, why don't we make this into a movie? That'd be like really sick. So yeah, I think that would be like my advice for Hollywood right now is clearly there is a market for like putting more cuteness into films. And if you don't want to utilize animals that much, I don't know, just make a Kirby movie or something. And Sonic the Hedgehog is working pretty well. Like I like this movement of like taking like these like cute creatures and putting them into like these like roles or contrast action horror films. I think Lilo and Stitch is a pretty good example of like how to utilize that, where it's like a little alien creature but he's still adorable and stuff. People love cute stuff, and I think this is a way for people to not only like see like, you know, movies now who aren't going to the movies as much, but people went to go see this film, a horror film, because there was a dog involved. I think that says a whole lot, and I absolutely love this film. I love just like the behind the scenes and the making of it. I love how open the director was about like sharing like behind the scenes clips at the end of the film. It's great. I definitely would recommend this for the Halloween season and for anyone who's just looking for something different. And if you like dogs, go see this film. So yeah, guys, that was my review of Good Boy. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen this movie yet. Like this video, share it, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet for more movie reviews, gaming content, and so on. Thank you guys so much. I'm Corbin Stuckey, and thank you for watching, and let's enjoy the Halloween season.